Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for waiting for me. I think I'm about 8 minutes started to class.
We're more than happy to wait for you. Are you? There's no fire going.
No fire?
No, don't you have a fireplace behind
No,
you?
no, 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 no. Down in Texas, we're not chilly. We're not that chilly yet. We're just coming out of 46 days over 100 degrees.
We're from Canada. There is always a fire on
Yeah.
if you are from Canada. Even if it's hot out, there is a fire on.
I've got a very good friend, Canadian, Michael Rapino, Live Nation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Canadians were good people. Yeah, we all know each other too.
Canadians,
yeah, tiny
good
town.
people.
Are you tired of talking yet?
No. And if I was, I wouldn't say it. As my buddy said, if something gets uncomfortable, he always said this, John Chaney, was like, man, I don't want to do so-and-so. And he goes, well, won't hurt as much if you say it, quit.
Yeah, truth. I like that. But for us, we
No,
talk
I'm not
with
tired
that.
of talking.
Okay, so you wrote a book called Just Because.
Yeah.
And is this? I feel like we would intro you usually, but I don't know if we need to. I don't think anybody doesn't know who has cat. Everybody knows. Wait, but I will tell you totally transparently. I told my husband that we were doing a podcast we did today, and my son overheard. Who's 11? He's like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Right. You're 11. You might not know that yet." So they're into the YouTube or all of that life of like not knowing people yet. They just know things on in the world, not necessarily people. So we'll work on that. They know their parents and their teachers. That's it. And their friends on Snapchat. So did you write the book based on being a dad and having kids?
Not initially. Initially, it was just a dream I had, and I had this little ditty of a song in my head, and I woke up and started writing down the verses. Then I looked at them and was like, oh, this is a lot of stuff my children are wrestling with. This is a lot of stuff I talk to parents about that their children are wrestling with. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, I needed these reminders too. And so then I picked out the couplets that I thought were relevant for younger readers. It already rhymes. We put some illustrations in the book to make it even more digestible and sort of an innocent and fun read for youngsters. And there it is, Just Because.
Can you sing it?
It's on Jimmy Fallon last night.
Write your own ditty.
But on it does. It's an easy rhyme. I'm actually putting out a post here shortly about having everybody make up your own riff, your own rhyme, your own rap to it, and send them in. So you read it. Just because they threw the dart don't mean that it's stuck. Doom, doom, doom. Just because I've got skills don't mean there is no luck. Doom, doom, doom.
Okay, we're gonna do a duet, and we're gonna send it in like an audition. No, you're good at that. I'm not gonna. Yeah. No, you're. You can be background. No, I'll make the noises. I'll do like that. Okay, I'll try my best. I'm not good at that though. But we love so many of their little life lessons, and especially we have 7 kids, and we're always trying to teach them that like you don't fit into a box, and just because just like you said, sometimes things happen. It doesn't mean that's who you are. We also try to tell them that like just because you're this today, it doesn't mean you can't be something else tomorrow. You can change your mind. Because also, like, you have kids, so they change like within the week. Like, so one day there's something, and then the next week they're like, in 2 years from now, you're like, do you remember that person? Like, you don't even know who they are. But as parents, how did you not keep them into that? Like, you kind of think their personalities are finite when they're younger. You think like, oh, my kid is shy or my kid is this, because you see that when they're younger. Were you like that you changed and you saw that? Or is that your kids that you saw constantly changing? Like, what is that you knew that mindset?
Mainly my kids, because now I've got a 15-year-old. And we were more like that with him when he was first born, because, as you all know, when you first have a kid, you learn it's more DNA than you thought. But then as well, they do change. I've seen major changes and talk to him all the time. Do you remember when? Yeah, I do remember that. And then to talk to him about going, don't be embarrassed about that time. Because already getting to that time, like, I was so into, I don't know, Elsa at that time. I don't like that in music anymore. No, that was good. That was fine. That was a stage. That was a cool run. You may not be into that now, but don't dismantle that like only getting older means everything in the past that you were was not worthy, or it was a good run. So to let them know, look, youth and like the liberal arts, try things out. I've got a child that, going to play a sport, volleyball. Didn't want to. I was like, why did you want to? It's like, well, I feel pressure. Like, this mean I got to be a pro at volleyball? And they're like, no, you ain't got to be a pro. Just go play it. It's some physical activity. If you like it, keep on playing. Give us a year. If you don't, we'll find something else next year. But they think they have to be more absolute. What are you going to be in life?
Yeah.
I'm going, hey, man, I'm 53, guys. I'm still working on it myself. You know what I mean?
I know.
So especially these early years, you don't have to lock into something because you're going to miss out.
Did you say that when you were growing up, you always wanted to be older?
I did. I read that. And then I was in the car with my son driving to school this morning. We drove by all these teenagers, and like, he was looking at the teenagers and they all had the hair. And he's like, I wish I could be a teenager. So like, I know what I'm going to look like. What do you think I'm going to look like? Do you think I'm going to be tall? Do you think I'm going to look like him? And it was funny because you had said, like, you try to convince your kids not to think about when they're being older, but like living in it here right now. Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I can't, there's no way I don't think, to get them to be absolutely 100% present and enjoying exactly the age they are. I think we all want to be older. It's a future projection. It's like the freedoms you get, the independence you get, the amount of choice you get. And when you get older, for me, ultimately, it was about two things. One, my older brother, Pat, was my hero. And he, to me, was so cool. I wanted to be cool.
Yeah.
Like my older brother, Pat. Secondly, I wanted to be a father. I knew that was my dream in life, to be a father. Well, that meant being older, like my dad. Right. So those are things I look forward to. And do I look back and go, did I miss some years? Maybe. Maybe. I did. And I'm just trying to get, as things are moving so much faster, even for our kids now than they were for us, I'm trying to just go take the pressure off of this projection of, oh, I've got to be this, or I can't wait to be this. Well, don't miss out on where you are right now, because that's coming. That's coming no matter what.
I know. We're sitting here and like, I don't want to get older. I want to turn back time, and how easy your life is when you're little. And just to know, because they think that the freedoms and like all the excitement comes when they're older, but that comes with all the responsibility that they're going to get too.
Yeah. I mean, they'll see. They're already starting, mine are at the age now where they're starting to realize, hey, there's only 24 hours in a day. I got a lot of stuff I like to do. I got a lot of stuff I want to do. And I'm starting to learn that I have to sacrifice not doing this if I want to do this. Because it seemed like before 10, there was enough room to do everything. And it was like, I want more. What's got more meaning? Now they've got some things that mean something to them. And they're having to go, well, if you want to do that, if you want to pursue that, that means you're going to have to sacrifice this. And that's good for responsibility, time management, making a choice, and then going, make a choice. It doesn't really matter if you choose the wrong one, it'll reveal itself. You can go back to that other. You got time, If you make the wrong choice, or you end up pursuing this and you end up going like, you know what, that's not what I want to do. It's fine. Now's the time to try those things out.
Yeah, you make bad choices, make the wrong decisions. How you learn.
You say like, I like when you say like, you will make bad choices. We all make bad choices. That's how we learn and grow. But do you think it's mistakes or choices, or, because your book is kind of like nothing's finite, right? Everything's sort of the moment. You don't have to be what you were yesterday, which means you can be something different tomorrow or in a year from now. Like, that's got to help with mistakes, or when you feel like, a lot of kids now, when they fail, they feel like they have it's their world, because they don't have the outside world. They have nothing else to compare to. And it's devastating. Do you think that we can teach them?
It's a wonderful arrogance of youth, isn't it? To actually, one of our failures means dun, 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 dun. But it's true. We do feel that pressure, and kids do feel that. I talk about, what is one in the book? I don't even know if this one's in the book, but they screw up today. Or just because you failed doesn't mean you blew it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that idea that, own up to that. A lot of that courage, owning up to a failure is a big one.
But adults can't do that.
That's you got it. They go, okay. And then they go, are y'all mad at me? Or is it over? Does it mean you don't love me? No, of course we love you. Now, thank you for owning it. Now let's make reparations. Let's turn the tide. Let's make up for it tomorrow. We're back on even, to go that's just part of life. But if you didn't come on up to it, we're dealing with that one. It's not. If you didn't own up to it, it's going to catch up. And if it catches up later, and you've got a whole bunch of little failures and fibs that you told them, things you got away. When it catches up, the consequences are going to be a lot more dire later than if we just deal with it right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Bad day today. We bogeyed. Let's go birdie tomorrow. Get back to even par. Come on.
I feel like all the little, what are they called? What's the word for that starts with a C? It's a couplet. The little couplets are all little lifeless. Because I read the word and then I had to like Google what the word meant.
Couplet.
Oh, it's French. It's like, no,
I'm not French.
I was like, they were all like little life lessons, though. Like, we don't have little kids anymore. Who is the book? Like, what's the age for? Because those little couplets are things that we're still trying to like teach our kids now that are like 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
It's things I'm still trying to teach myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's where I think the prime spot for the book is a conversation between a parent and their children. I've had more conversations with a 15-year-old about it than I've had with my 10, but my 10 reminded me last night, he's read it 3 times and he's now letting me know things he remembered that go on in his life and he's bringing them up to me. He's 10. It's not above. I don't think it's too early for any age, but in a fun way, I'm finding out from a lot of adults, it's not too late for any age either.
No. And it's like when you go through them, even asking them like, what do you think this means? Like, or give me an example from your life that's like this.
That's, they've got a couple of schools that are trying that with the book, going through and going to students. Give me an example where you've been in a situation like this, where you felt this way, but the actual reality was this, or you did this thing that the next day you regretted it, or you labeled somebody something when you found out later it wasn't fair to do that because I didn't really who they were. Give me a situation where you've maybe forgave somebody but did not continue to trust them. Give me a situation where you forgave someone and trusted them and got burnt 3 times more.
Also empathy, like give me a time when you could feel what someone else was feeling, right? Like so much of it also is also like, I think that's a skill we don't teach that well is, this society so much about our perspective, our feelings.
There's a bunch of them in there about that. Just because you can choose doesn't mean they have a choice. All the kids are getting an ice cream, but the one kid doesn't have any change in his pocket.
Don't you feel like this is so much easier for kids to grasp than adults? Like, don't you feel like adults want like black and white, finite, like right and wrong?
Give them a title.
Like
put them in a box.
Don't you feel like this is such a hard concept for older people because they're stuck in like gray is scary and hard because it makes room for other opinions and other ideologies. I feel like it's harder for us to teach and to grasp than it is for children. I feel like children live in this world. I feel like they're constantly questioning, being like, but what about this? What about that?
Well, I mean, look, I think it's important for adults to never really lose grasp of our own beginner's mind. I mean, I didn't write these things down thinking, hey, this is going to be great for my 10-year-old, 8-year-old child.
Right.
Not for me. And then looked at it, was like, oh, how about that? But I was talking to my 8-year-old self. I was looking through the lens of when I was 8 and 10 and 12 and 15, and then looked at it and I thought I had a nice song for myself. And then looked at it, oh, actually, might be useful to share because I noticed other children and youngsters all the way up to older ages were going through and needed a little context, just a reminder of the context. That would allow us to be properly lenient with others and ourselves. This book's about forgiveness. Just because I let go doesn't mean that I stopped climbing. That came to me as an antidote for an analogy about forgiveness. We always think that, if you forgive, if you let go, you're recessing, you're going back. Well, no, a lot of times forgiveness can be how we evolve, how we ascend, how we move on, how we rise.
Do you feel like when you were a kid, you knew these lessons, or just looking back on them now, you really see how important they are?
Looking back, I don't feel like I knew them then.
No.
I can look back and maybe try to remember my mom and dad trying to teach me some of them in different ways, but to get them down to a couplet and a picture that's kind of very, literal or funny, or they could see that the kid can see themselves in the situation. That I never got. And that's part of what I'm kind of proud about the book, is I got it down to couplets, with a simple couplet with one visual. It's kind of easy to digest.
Yeah. How many times do you have to lie to actually be a liar?
Good question. Because that one, a lot of people like to talk about. We've all, I think, deemed someone a liar or ourselves a liar, when actually it was a one-off. It was a weak moment. I tried to get away with it. Gosh dang it. Yeah, my bogey, I got caught. You're right. Won't do that again. Now, if a lot of times that means I just lied, and you could reframe it and go, no, you just lied. I just lied. Okay, now we can come back together. You and I can go, okay, sorry about that. And you can take me back in and we can have a relationship. You call me a liar, you're casting an umbrella over my entire character being, who I've been, who I am, and who I'll always be. Ooh, those become fighting words. I'm going to defend myself. We're not coming back together on that. Now, if I go, yeah, I lied. That's right. Thanks for, I just lied to you once, but I do it again. Oh, is this maybe a character trait? I do it 3 times. Oh, this seems to be a character trait of you, Miss McConaughey. That I'd say in the relationship, that's not worth your time anymore. That person is a liar to you. Don't be
3 times.
Twice, tell me I'm 3 times. I'm two. I mean, but there's certain ones, that relationship that you go, someone seems to have a chronic problem. You want to help rehabilitate them over. Go, dude, cut it out. Right. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this because it's costing me, and you're not respecting me enough to tell me the damn truth, because what you're telling me, I'm taking away with me as a fact. Now I'm looking like an ass because I'm believing you. So cut it out.
Yeah.
Now, if you keep,
and for the parents that are reading the book, putting a label on your kid sometimes is going to make them live up to that potentially negative title. So we have to be careful when labeling them too. Especially now, we really have to watch labeling, because you know how it is. We find out years later what they took in, and they remembered word for word.
Everything.
I didn't know you locked into that one. You know what I mean? So we have to watch labels. You know what I mean?
And we talk about them like they're not there. That's what parents do. They talk about them even though they're right there in the other room, and they're listening to, and like they're so shy, and they're like not that shy, but then they become shy, and you're like, oh, why did I do that?
I heard a cool thing. A friend of mine said he does this, and it's sort of it's slightly manipulative, but it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. We love those.
When you know your kids are in earshot, but they don't know that you know, compliment them on something.
Yes.
Wasn't that really cool that Lucian came in here and did the dishes this morning? We didn't even ask. That was so good. Man, what a responsible dude, man. That was cool, man.
Yeah.
And don't let them know that you know.
Yeah.
We do that one all the time. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you were there. They walk in. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that was you.
Don't tell your siblings I was talking about you like that. But why do you ask them what you want to ask them?
When we were reading your book, I said, but a killer's a killer. A killer didn't kill.
She wants to know if a killer's a killer.
Yes.
From the author himself. Let's hear it.
Is a killer a killer? Look, there are people that have had one-off kills that didn't kill again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There has to be room for rehabilitation if someone sincerely wants and is going to put in the work to resurrect themselves if they deem themselves. Look, other times you have people just doing stupid things because of ignorance.
Yes.
That I almost applaud more, because I'm like, oh shit, they didn't know better. Now I can work with it. What's scary is the one that knows better and then goes off and does something like, dude, right. You made a choice. You knew the consequences and you made the evil choice. Look, I'm not gonna throw a label on someone until I see that they're a repeat offender. And I'm going to judge them. When two people come together, the person who has done the unto, whether it was the lying or the killing or the crying, you go to them and you give them a chance to work for their amnesty. Not everyone gets it. Not everyone should. Not everyone wants it. Not everyone's willing to do it. That's up to us to measure. A lot of times situationally with that person. Are am I going to relationships? Am I going to, do I trust that enough to keep you in this relationship in my life? Or is this a bad character trait you got? And you know what? Done with you. Forgive you. Don't trust you. Later.
I mean, your book is like, everyone needs to get the book. So I feel like it kind of is like you should read it around a dinner table with friends and then play the game of have you, did you, are they, when are they, right? Because everyone's gonna have a different answer. Like, I think a killer is a killer at 1, but you might talk to them and say 4. Like, it really is an interesting conversation amongst themselves. I love that.
A little tequila sounds like a fun game.
Hey, tequila, just because.
Just because I was thirsty.
Where can everyone get your book, and when can they send in their little ditties?
Yeah, our audition tapes.
Check out the audition tape. I'm making the invite, I believe, on Instagram here very shortly. Nicole, my right hand, who's probably listening, could maybe throw that up in the chat. The book should be everywhere. Nicole, is it available in Canada right now everywhere as well?
All right. Do you prefer a little country, some rap? Do you want some pop rock?
You can yodel if you want. You can whistle it. You can dance.
All right, cool.
Whatever angle you want. Have some of that tequila first.
We will. Oh yes.
Get a
loosey goosey thumb. Yeah.
Come on.
All right. Thanks so much, Matthew.
You're welcome. Good talking to you.
Have a great day.
Yeah.